In the Mojave, survival isn't just about guns. Sometimes, just sometimes, it's about a straight razor. But what if that straight razor dealt double its damage with critical hits, had a bonus 4 times damage multiplier, and a bonus chance of doing criticals? This is Figaro, and today's goal is to see how viable it is on very hard difficulty with hardcore mode on. Place your bets. Toothpick or Dragon Slayer? Can you beat Fallout New Vegas using only Figaro?
The game was rigged from the start.
A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later, and the tale of Barberheimer begins.
I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name.
With 9 in strength, endurance, agility, and luck, 2 in perception, and 1 in both charisma and intelligence. Our best skills are medicine, melee weapons, and sneak, and the traits that most define us are built to destroy and skilled. Doc Mitchell patched me up and returned me my belongings. I thanked him by robbing him blind, and we set out to see the sun for the first time in 2 weeks. And now, I get to do it all over again throughout the entire town of Good Springs. If it is worth selling, or if it might come in handy later, I've got it. Unless it's locked behind a safe that I cannot open yet. And so I went on to meet Sunny Smiles. Asked her if there's any work to be done, and there isn't. But she did give us some bobby pins in the Locksmith's Reader magazine. I sold some things to Chet, and I'm thinking that my first priority needs to be acquiring Figaro, obviously. For that, I'm gonna need to do a beeline to Vegas, and most importantly, I will allow myself to choose one weapon from my inventory to fight for it. And once I do get it, I'll only be allowed to use Figaro and regular straight razors in combat. So, after exploring Good Springs' cemetery, and getting both the snow globe and the first clue that Penny left behind, it's time to start walking. Gene skydiving had a blue star cap and some miscellaneous loot. Behind the shack, there are some powder gangers, and by those powder gangers, there's an explosives crate. It's free dynamite if you play your cards right, so we'll bring it along cause I've got an idea. In Sloan, the first thing I do is to snatch both skill books. One is for sneak, the other is for repair. Chomps then insists that we turn back, and he's right cause here's Snuffles, she's a cutie. And with an issue of today's physician, I've got enough medicine to treat her leg. With that done, I'll heed Chomps' advice and instead go northeast, just a bit. Through Neil's shack by jumping over the right side of the right rock, through Repcon's HQ, and into Freeside's north gate. The old Mormon fort's the first thing that I see, and I know there is a snow globe in there, so let's add it to the collection. And in the King's School of Impersonation, we can meet Sergio.
You want your hair done too? No. The kings are many, and their hair must be perfect.
I shoved a stick of dynamite up the second hole I could find, and closing the door for privacy's sake, hey! If it ain't a weapon whose damage is beyond atrocious, but with a ridiculous crit multiplier. I am genuinely curious to compare Figaro to Chance's knife. Are they even on the same tier? And this got me to level 2. I put the points into unarmed, and yes, I said unarmed instead of melee. There is a perk that I'll want later. And speaking of perks, I went for Confirmed Bachelor. It's what Sergio would have wanted, I'm pretty sure, and it's 10% damage against men. Now, to balance my cosmic karma, I've helped the kid that really wants giant rat for dinner.
Thanks, mister.
Back in Good Springs, as I go on to make it daytime for better lighting, Malcolm Holmes shows up.
It's good to see a friendly face.
And I might not like being followed, but I do like opportunities to test new toys, so... Malcolm's about to get a fate so legendary it can only be compared to a middle-aged white woman's vodka blackouts. Next client, the mantises in the schoolhouse. I want those skill magazines, and I want that stealth boy. As for Sunny, you know how it goes. She's been waiting her whole life for a courier to pick up a varmint rifle and shoot 3 bottles. Proceeds to plan a date where you go over 6 geckos together, whereas the remaining 3 will be a test on whether or not you can save a settler. You get 3 purified waters for your efforts. Sunny now wants you to learn how to live off the land, and for the tutorial to end, I just need to find some pieces of Brock flour and Xander roots. I also couldn't find Barton Thorn for the life of me, but that's fine. He's not needed for any of this. Just up the ridge, there are some Brock flowers. And since these geckos are pretty early game, Figaro can take care of them pretty easily. As for the Xander root, it spawns near the schoolhouse after you begin Sunny's quest. 2 healing powders and a bloatfly slider later, and Joe Mama's done being nice.
I'm done being nice.
Seems that the powder gangers are after Ringo, a Crimson Caravan trader that's hiding in the gas station. And that is why I went to the strip immediately. I've learned my mistakes from the previous run. XP matters a lot on very hard, so I'm gonna be a lot more zealous on this one. I fixed her radio, sold some stuff, introduced myself to Ringo and told him that we would help. I also stole Joe Cobb's stealth boy, went back to Sunny and...
Say no more. I'm in.
But I could not convince Easy Pete. I did not have an explosives magazine. As for Trudy and Chet, I had enough sneak to convince her, and the barter magazine was enough for him. That got me to level 3, I kept improving unarmed, and Doc Mitchell will always help. But if you pass a medicine check, he will also give you some extra supplies. I then told Ringo that the town's in, and that is when Sunny shows up.
Powder gangers are here to play.
Figaro demolished the absolute shit out of them, but to be fair, until we are past Prim, maybe later, I shouldn't have to worry in the slightest. At least that's what I thought. There was, one specific problem that I did not anticipate. You'll see. Ringo thanks us, gives us some caps, and invites us to pass through the Crimson Caravan later. Will do. But for now, I'm gonna be very thorough in the early game. In Good Springs Cave, the coyotes don't pose much of a threat, and I have used Chance's knife here, so yeah. I'd say so far, these seem to be on the same level. The loot was mid, but at least I got an extra stim pack. And on top of the hill where the cave is located, we get a really cool location. The Devil's Gullet, a sinkhole. It's got a star cap, hydra, and some ammo, and it's got a couple coyotes nearby. And that's it. Mostly eye candy. I then used the water source to heal, so I could save stim packs, and who do I spy with my little eye?
My girl is trapped by geckos on the ridge, and I can't get to her. Please, she's going to die.
Brother, I know it's the post-apocalypse, but we need to have a talk. Standards. Raise yours. I'm just kidding. The dude's trying to mug you. He hopes you perish to the geckos. Same geckos that I already cleared, so note to self, Barton doesn't really react to you doing his miscellaneous thingy beforehand. Now I know. So in terms of Barton, I'm just gonna take a little off the top, and the front, and the future. Some more wandering led me to Lone Wolf Radio, where I found another skill book, and some high-tech junk. And when I went to Prim, why is a prospector by himself? Did you lose your caravan buddies? Anyways, here's what happens when you remember that armors have damage threshold. And then on the second try I basically mopped the floor with them. Such are the perks of pretending that in-game difficulties aren't simply glass cannon simulators. As for Prim, an NCR trooper tells us that the town's being overrun by escaped convicts.
Prim is off limits.
I disarmed the mines and the two guys by the casino and went on to meet Johnson Nash. He is the one that gave us the platinum chip job. The platinum chip that Benny shot us for. As for Benny, I'm just going to find the clues in order so I can test Figaro on the game's natural progression. And so, in the Bison Steve hotels where we'll find the rest of the convicts. They are all extremely weak, leader included, at least compared to the rest of the game, and it really helps when you're only taking 1 to 2 of them at the same time. I also got to level 4, just kept doing more of the same, and the major difference between these guys and the strongest geckos I've fought is simply that these guys have guns. And well, when you're up close and personal against low numbers of enemies like these, it really turns the tide in favor of your critical hit slot machine. After permanently shushing these troublemakers, we can rescue Deputy Beagle.
I don't suppose you came here to rescue me. I'd cross my fingers, but my hands are numb.
Said we could, didn't say I would. On Beagle's inventory, we see a holotape. He's seen the men we're after, and they've gone to Novak through Nipton. But I said it before and I'll say it again. I want more XP, so I'll find the sheriff for Prim. Whenever I find all of the parts needed to turn Prim Slim into one. Immediately I fast traveled back to Sloan, went to the machine shop, got all the conductors and fission batteries I could find, and that was not enough. So I went to Chet, got me another fission battery, that's done, but I still don't have enough conductors. And I won't have the last one for a while. There was a third one in Good Springs, absolutely fuck all in Lone Wolf Radio, so I guess I'll just go back to Prim later. For now, I'm going to head towards Nipton, but not without making a tiny detour to Jackrabbit Springs. The centaurs are way too easy to outrun, and quite frankly, these are just sad slugs. You will be fine. And then the powder gangers showed up. They were not happy about what I did to Joe Cobb and the others, cause if you're a New Vegas NPC, you are omniscient. How would they know? Are the Good Springs townsfolk bragging? So goofy. Anyways, free stealth boy. And who won the lottery?
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did!
I don't know much about scratch cards, but here, have a scratch. Surely I'm not going to record the whole fucking thing on Audacity when I have a microphone. And this is where I lost the entire voiceover and had to do it all over again half a week later. I don't know what's wrong with my audio interface, but from the past 4 hours, it seems that if I put my previous one on top of it, now it works. Same cable, same driver, same everything. I didn't learn a single thing, I don't know what I did wrong, I don't know what I did right. But it's working now, so let's keep the show on the road.
Don't worry.
Vulpes has a pretty short quest. We just need to inform the NCR that the town of Nipton's now devoid of hookers and blackjack, and everyone else. But before I could leave, Thomas came up to me. I heard him and Jacqueline having a little fight. She wanted to steal his star caps, and he wanted to keep breathing. Unfortunately, I too like collecting star caps, even when I'm not planning on doing that quest, so yeah. Dude just had the last worst day of his life. I then found a traveling merchant, and in the Mojave outpost, Sergeant Kilborn is not too pleased with the news of Nipton. Now, there is something you might have not noticed. It's on the screen. And I didn't mention it on purpose. Figaro has a major problem. It breaks really fast. I'm a couple of swings away from not being able to use it. I also don't have a single straight razor. And I need to repair it, so I did the logical thing. I started looking for straight razors and for people that can repair our equipment. I fast traveled back to Repcon, went on a stroll until the 188 trading post, and I'll just say it. I couldn't find a single straight razor for sale during the entire run. Samuel repaired Figaro for 500 caps, I made the rounds between the gun runners, traveling merchants, and the Crimson Caravan. Ringo thanks us once again, threw some more caps our way. Ralph didn't have anything either. I am still looking for conductors. And that's when I remembered that, hey, maybe I'll find one near Fisto. Nope, just rats and scrap metal. Great. Back to Nipton. The Legion is going through a route that I hadn't noticed until now, so that is interesting. But I'm not planning on fighting a grenade launcher guy, so I'm just gonna go to Wolfhorn Ranch my way. Over here I found another skill book and another unique weapon. Chopper. I'll just sell it later. And in Searchlight we learned that we've got competition. Thanks to the Legion, anyone that wants a free haircut just needs to stand in the center of town. It is an experimental radiation procedure, but side effects aside, and if rightly branded, it is 100% efficient. Past some ghouls, I made it to level 5. An armed at 70 should be enough. I put the rest of the points into medicine and went on to visit the Skirt Gang. I just had to tell him that I'm a friend. Aurelius doesn't seem bothered that I'm just crouching behind him, going through his desk. I got the Legion patrol notes, yet another unique weapon to sell later, and another skill book too. And then...
Please, sir, take pity on us. Free us, please.
You know what? I'll do it, if you say the line.
When will we be free?
Say it again.
When will we be free?
God damn it, that's just so burdening to the soul. And it cost me 300 caps. The weather's fucked off. I went back to Aster. He now wants me to bug the Cubs radio. Luckily the Legion isn't even guarding it, so it's just 2 clicks, even though he is asking for a lot. So after bugging the radio and giving him the notes, he now wants me to annihilate every single one of them. Yeah, I'm not going against the entirety of Cottonwood Cove. At least not with his armor. Gotta pick my battles, and for level 6, I kept making my Stimpaks more useful. And I took the Bloody Mess perk, cause I want all of the extra damage. A long and eventful walk later, I made it to Novak, and I went straight to Ginny May. Give me that motel room. Give me everything in your safe, and give me that well-rested bonus. I also stole that gun before meeting Boone and learning that his pregnant wife is dead. Cause someone sold her into slavery, and he knows that she's dead cause he's a really good sniper. Well, I'm a really good barber, so I just gave him a few tips. The bill of sale was on Ginny May's safe, of course, so she too gets a haircut. And then I see a garage, shelves, with tech on the other side of town. Wouldn't you know it? There isn't a single fucking conductor here either. What am I doing, man? Another 5-finger discount later, this time on Manny, got me another holotape. Benny's gone to Boulder City. Old Lady Gibson is much better at repairing stuff than Samuel is. And who do we have over here?
You here to pay your respects to?
Nope.
What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
You're a little bitch and your brother was too. Steampucks won't be able to heal that. I kept going until Hoover Dam just for the snow globe, and then I went back for Lieutenant Monroe. The great cons that were with Benny have been cornered by the NCR, but they also took some hostages, so I offered to mediate the conflict. confronted Jessup, and Benny betrayed them, took the platinum chip, and went back to the strip. Oh, and by the way, that W key on my computer sometimes gets stuck, which is great when you make these kinds of videos. But yeah, that's why I'm so close to Jessup on this scene. And that concludes, they went that away. That's another level up, I rounded medicine to 50, and I finally started improving my melee. And I can just leave now, but I can also do something. Like poking him with a straight razor, running for my life, hiding behind a building and waiting until the NCR clears every single one of the Great Khans. But I got tired of waiting. So I sped things up a bit, freed the hostages, went back to the 188, and decided to grab a map marker for later, the El Dorado substation.
Stay out of the control room and enclosure, or there's gonna be trouble. Got it?
Got it. For now. And I'm still salty about that conductor, so it's time to go to the one place where I am certain that I will find one. Nelly's. I made some patties along the way. They attack you on sight. I'm not a monster. I also got Abilene from Field Shack. And here comes George, the boomer that's not really part of the boomers. He wants to make a bet, and I have no clue where I'm going to find some of that black stuff that balding black dudes use to pretend their hairline isn't trying to cross back the ocean, so I just killed him. As for the bombardment, it wasn't first try, and I'll leave it at that. It's just so random. And for surviving the warm welcome, we get to meet the elder of the boomers, Mother Pearl.
I've been waiting a good 5 years for an outsider to come along and visit.
You're a fucking psychopath. You know that, right? Pearl, I like you. I do. But you kinda are your own worst enemy. Now, remember that metal armor prospector? Metal armor sucks, but you know what doesn't? Combat armor. And the boomers have enough for you to repair several suits to their maximum. It's also free caps, and there's missiles and yada yada. So, I'm gonna loot way too much, and I'm gonna go chase even more XP. Through medicine checks, we can help Doc Argyle's patients, but one in particular. If you've got low intelligence, you can just chop, 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 and somehow it works perfectly.
Now I know what they mean by dumb luck.
I did need a skill magazine for the last patient though, and like I said, yep, got the last conductor I needed. In their museum, I found the third snow globe of the run, and I let Pete go over the boomer's history. That's a big boost to our reputation with them, and in the hangars the looting continues. Loyal wants me to find some solar array panels. I found Mr. Cuddles, and Jack wants scrap metal, and he wants to meet the redhead of his dreams. Lindsay got her teddy bear back. I started selling everything that I won't have a use for, and I found the redhead, Janet. Turns out that Jack isn't just spying on a random woman through his binoculars. She is staring back through hers. As for the solar panels, Lieutenant Haggerty is not letting me in Helios 1, but I am only a couple skill points away, with a magazine on top, of being able to convince her, so I went back to Pearl, and then back to Jack, and then back to Janet. I even got to meet Alice. Long story short, Janet is coming with, and of course, I gave her boomer clothing, so they wouldn't blow her up on sight.
Thank you for getting Janet to Nellis. I've never been so happy in my entire life.
That got me to level 8. I'm just going to keep improving melee, and I took the awesome Super Slam perk. I'll come back to Nelly's later once I can progress, so for now, let me just go on to deal with some thugs alongside Old Ben. Meet the guy, heed his advice of not going past the Securitrons without talking to them first, and let's pass the cop check. Cause I'm really eager to spend my money. And we don't need to get into the strip with 2,000 caps. We just need to show a tin can that at some point of the run, we have them. Next up, the New Vegas Medical Clinic.
If you've got the caps, I've also got several implants available to enhance your physical attributes.
You sell plants too?
No. Implants, not plants.
I got the health regen one for 12,000 caps, and then I turned Prim Slim into a sheriff.
Law enforcement protocols reinstated, partner.
Now we go after Benny. Upon entering the strip, Victor greets us, and he wants us to go and meet Mr. House right away, but I say Mr. House can wait. Instead, I'm gonna start with Gamora, cause their bartenders have really good inventories. Buff out, Psycho, Turbo, yes, I do want it all. And of course, Billy's got jokes.
It's hard to sleep in this place, I tell you. Last night, some girl was pounding on my door all night. Finally, I had to let her out. What?
Okay, I found more magazines, I had a chat with Mortimer, that was all set up. And so was going to the Vault 21 gift shop, cause after stealing Sarah's room key, we can get the snow globe she's got in her bedroom. With that done, let's go into the top. I showed every single clue I've gathered to Swank. He's not pleased about learning that Benny wants to fuck Mr. House over, and we've been tasked to find even more incriminating evidence on Benny's room. And I did. There is a whole Sakuritron that cannot say no. Yes, man. I exhausted his dialogue so I could get all of his quests on my log. Swank sent Benny to his room and he gave me my weapons back.
What in the goddamn?
Benny got a late circumcision. I got the platinum chip and to level 9, that's more points to melee, and outside, Vulpes shows up with the Mark of Kaiser. Any crimes committed against the Legion have been forgiven. We've been granted safe passage to meet Baldy, and I can just return the platinum chip to Mr. House. He will be upgrading his Sakuritrons here in the strip to their Mark II, and he wants me to upgrade the Sakuritron army he's got stashed under Fortification Hill. So the platinum chip is back in our inventory. Before leaving though, I'm gonna go to the cocktail lounge to grab another snow globe. Then to the presidential suite to get that well-rested bonus, and lastly, to Jane. She bought all of the snow globes I've gathered for 12,000 caps, and if you've got the platinum chip, then you're just a stroll away from meeting everyone's favorite cyborg mommy in person. The Sakuritrons do aggro, so, you know, run on a straight line is what I tried. Maybe I could have dealt with House first and upgraded these later, but that is not what I did. I just used Turbo. It did it. And then I showed Figaro to the dehydrated human ballsack. Upon leaving, we are once again being interrupted so we can receive a message. This time is the NCR that would like to have a chat, but I'll just be ignoring them. There is a couple more things I'd like to set in motion, so in the 188, I'm going to recruit Veronica. It's not for combat, she's just going to prevent me from having an explosive collar around my neck. Smashing Ranger Dobson's radio on every single run gets boring. And takes extra time, is basically what I'm trying to say. Over here, I just need to get in touch with Paladin Ramos. And once that's done, we are one faction away from having the side bets quest done. I dismissed Veronica, and I will once again be avoiding every single fiend on the way to Red Rock Canyon. Didn't find any geckos on this one, and once you get to the right map marker, you just need to keep going a bit more, for some reason. And since I'm here, might as well grab the turbo and medics that the cons have laying around. And I wonder... Ooh, sometimes I wonder. I've got a ton of caps, and I can even get more, so... Let's get that subdermal implant for 8,000 caps. And because I can afford it, I'll take the endurance one for 4,000 as well. In the Ultralux, 10 minutes of blackjack was enough to get me another 15,000 caps, and so I went back to Dr. Uzanagi. The implants I got now were for strength, agility, luck, and intelligence. I also feasted on a Brahmin Wellington and pushed it down with some purified water. And I noticed that I was really close to leveling up, so I just went back to Jackrabbit Springs to mow down the other centaurs. And this was a shit show. You won't be seeing me farming these guys anytime soon. At least not with Super Slam. For I know it, they went for a swim. But I did get to level 10. I rounded speech to 20, dumped the rest of the points into melee weapons, and took the finesse perk. An issue of meeting people got me the 10 plus to speech that I was missing. Lieutenant Haggerty has the memory of a goldfish, and to get the solar arrays, we only need 20 of repair. And I had a magazine for that too. So, Nellis' solar panels have been repaired, Loyal's happy, the boomers finally idolize us, and so Pearl asks for the cherry on top. We are to rescue the lady in the water. It's a bomber. Because of course it's a bomber. Why would these guys even want anything that wouldn't make a boom? Jack can make us a rebreather. For that, he needs a pressure cooker. There's one in Good Springs, and voila! The boomers get a plane. I get allies for the second battle of Hoover Dam, a ton of XP, until level 11. More melee, please. Back to Yes Man, I told him the good news about the factions and about House, but I'm going to the fort before installing him in the mainframe. It's just best not to risk annoying the Legion too much since we're past that one part. They take away your weapons, they even take away your steam packs. But they do have something for you, because behind those puppy eyes, buried down under that one hair, is a child with a dream. A lifelong dream of feeling the ground shake. We get our equipment back in the weather monitoring station, and we are tasked with destroying whatever we find in the bunker under the fort. Figaro demolishes the Protectrons. The turrets are way weaker than the ones in the Brotherhood's bunker, but they are still annoying. I managed to escape first try with basically no health, but I would like to think that upgrading the Securitron army was worth it. I mean, look at Kaiser all happy and giggly.
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
He then starts doing some weird TikTok dances and asks me to take a nap. And in that nap, I had the weirdest of dreams. The entire season 2 of the Follow TV show came by. Somehow, a pragmatic villain, who is evil because of his methods, not his impulses, has become so egotistical that when he dies, the Legion is to die with him. Ah, but Kyon, even Joshua Graham says that the Legion would die without Kaiser. I know, but I also know what Vulpes, Lanius, and Kaiser have to say. So why would I listen to Banished Toilet McPaperface? Jokes aside, there is a hierarchy. They have contingency plans. There is a clear line of succession. If Kaiser dies from his tumor when the courier's around, Lucius takes over until he can get in touch with Lanius, who will become the new Kaiser. But it's whatever. I still think the TV show did better than basically every other adaptation I've seen. Witcher, Rings of Power, Halo, Resident Evil. The thing about the TV show is it didn't need to be canon. Not when a season's 8 episodes, 1 to 2 are filler. The story is short, but fragmented into like 7 backstories. And then they portray most factions as fan service. My point is that the Legion is both hated and loved for a reason. And that reason is not Raiders with props, it's the backstories of the characters. It's Kaiser wanting a world where things would be fine and just, and he's gonna do the most vile shit to get it. So yeah, what a great move to turn the bodies into Raiders with props. Anyways, I installed Yes Man on the Lucky 38's mainframe, leveled up mid-rant, melee got maxed, and that perk I was talking about was Piercing Strike. Not sure if it'll be that good, but it did sound great when I was thinking of this build because of Lanius and his armor. That thing has a lot of damage threshold, and every time we see a Centurion, they do too. Then I used an override chip to divert power from the El Dorado substation to the bunker under the fort, and they saw me. Didn't really want to fight, so I just popped the stealth boy and they lost me. That was it. Super easy, and we're ready to go and fight for Hoover Dam.
You must get to the control room and install an override chip.
Our next task is to do basically the same thing, but this time to grant Yes Man control over the dam. I just ran past the Centurions. Figaro gets broken way too fast to be used mindlessly. And in the offices, the NCR heavy troopers are in for a treat. They get groomed for the last time, Yes Man gets his request granted, I destroy everyone in my way. Turn on the lights, and on the east side of the dam, it seems the boomers are in dire need of binoculars, cause what the fuck, man? They were supposed to be on my side. Meanwhile, and unless my eyes are deceiving me, I almost became a burnt toast. Though, to be fair, I was able to jog without issue to the Legate's camp, and here, oh here, is where things gotta turn for the worst. That damage threshold. I don't know. I expected more from Piercing Strike, but I'm not sure if I am expecting too much from Figaro. Even against a Praetorian it took longer than I imagined, especially after the false hope that the NCR heavy troopers gave me, and yeah, this didn't exactly go well at first.
An envoy of Vegas, yet you carry yourself for battle. If so, you cannot truly be of that city of cowards.
It's time for a cocktail of buff-outs, medics, jets, mentats, psycho, a stealth boy, a steam pack, turbo, and a quick save. And that's how I couldn't do it. I spent 15 minutes watching Power Fists trigger the death animation. And Lenny uses blade. But, I did do it. You know, sometimes in life you just gotta keep it simple. I'm sure there's better weapons, better perks. Even the build's pretty good, it's just mildly optimized instead of fully. No. The savior of this run is Turbo. Is Figaro better than Chance's knife? I'd have to test it on Lanius, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say that no. It feels slightly subpar in comparison. I have used Chance's knife on other runs, but at the end of the day, it's a knife and a straight razor. They might be amazing from the early to the mid game, but by the end, you could do oh so much better. Let me know what y'all think, which kind of runs you'd like to see next, character runs, weapon runs, more lore, less lore, more mods, whatever it may be. If I like it, I might do it. Until then, I've got the long 15 video to script, other projects to start recording, Turbo's budget insane. And here comes General Lee Oliver, doing the slowest of walks, going over nearly every single swear word in the English language, The Cigar is a Lie, and Can You Eat Fallout New Vegas using only Figaro? Of course you can. As always, remember to check the channel and the playlists for more videos, and if you want to help me out, just click that like button. Leave a comment, or join as a member if that is something you would do. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle, to John Walker, to Glitchtail, to Devon Lowry, and to our newest channel members, Zoxies and Dancing Peach. And to you, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you have a good one. Bye!
And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.